Welcome back. Here we are. We've got two all-stars in the room here. We've got Laura and we've got Marni. Marni, a regular contributor to the show. We're going to talk about inclusive public washrooms. So, Leigh, there's been a lot of discussion about this, especially recently. You know, where are we at right now with Bill 10 and these types of situations?
I think Marni's probably the best person.
Okay.
It would actually be Bill 7, which was our Human Rights Act, and that identifies or adds gender identity and expression as protected ground in the Human Rights Act. But that doesn't mean that new rights were given. We've always had rights. That didn't change anything. They're just enumerated in the legislation. And one of those rights is an expression of my gender is to be able to use the washroom for the gender to which I identify as. That's always been my legal right. That has never changed.
Okay. So why is the public access to inclusive restrooms so important, Marni? Or Laura?
Well, it is part of... When one group of people are forced to use one washroom that is gender neutral, when everybody else has a choice, that becomes discrimination. And that goes back to the conversations in the 50s when it used to say people of color are not allowed into these washrooms, right? So it is very much, that's when the discrimination starts.
Now, Laura, you have an interesting story about the Fort Mac evacuees. Maybe can you share that with us, please?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I'm certainly an ally of the community and have known Marni for a long time and have been supportive, certainly, of all of the activities that have been happening around it. But I'm not really on the front lines, but HIV Edmonton has worked really hard to always be inclusive. But we received an email, so I received an email from someone stating that that their partner, who is transgender, was feeling unsafe and needed somewhere safe to shower, and asked if we could help. And so I made some calls, and I just thought, yeah, this is really important. I want to be involved in this and help this person out. And so I was able to call the city. And I think the reason that I love sort of what happened was I phoned the city, and I got just the random person who answers the phone. And this woman was just working so hard to find an answer. We looked through the different facilities and what had private facilities, and she was really able to kind of whittle down, and then saw that there was actually not a lot of private places that could be lockable that this person could actually go, but was willing to really work hard at this, and I felt pretty good about that. But we still didn't really I didn't feel like I had a really safe place for this person to actually go. Okay. And so then I called the YMCA in Edmonton, downtown, and same thing, I got the most amazing staff person who, again, just bent over backwards. And I don't want to give anything away because I don't know if this person might get in trouble, but really maneuvered a way that this person could come in and be safe in a locked room where they could shower and be safe. But I think the reason I told Angela from Pride Festival the story was because I see on social media and on Twitter, and being close to Marni and seeing the challenges that this has caused, and people just being so ignorant and stupid, actually, not just ignorant, about this issue. And when it just, to me, was so strange. And then to have this amazing outpouring of support from two random people that I could call, just really renewed my faith in humanity a bit. And I just thought, wow, we really are making some progress.
We are in some places, but I think what you hear the challenges is people are trying to use the safety of women and children as a decoy to stopping trans people from using these washrooms and to be clearly phobic around this. And I think what you've highlighted some real serious issues is that, to break down some of the myths, that trans people are more likely to be discreet in washrooms. We are more likely to hide. We don't want to draw attention to ourselves because we know the risks are very, very real out there. And it's really, really scary because the person that's more likely to be assaulted, harassed, raped, or murdered in a washroom in North America, in a public washroom, is a transgender woman. We are much more at risk from society than society will ever be from our community.
Now, Marni, you've made some great strides working with universities and health services and such, and you've actually designed a sign that I believe we can take a look at right now. Tell us about this. What is it all about?
And actually, you commented about the City of Edmonton, and really this work was started with the City of Edmonton, who's done some really amazing things about creating inclusive spaces. And this sign, you can see, it gets rid of the triangle girl and the stick figure man. It's about...
A toilet.
Yes, really, it's about not about what you do when you go into the washroom, not who you are when you go in. Everybody pretty much knows what to do with a toilet, with the wheelchair, but it's just more inclusive. We get rid of the binary of male and female, and this really provides a safe place for anybody who does not feel safe in a segregated washroom. Not just transgender people, but people who do maybe not look girl enough or boy enough or feel unsafe, or maybe you're a dad taking a daughter to the washroom, or a healthcare provider taking their patient of a different gender to a washroom. These provide safe alternatives, but it's important to remember though, that still, it is my right to use the washroom that I choose to use that's appropriate to my true gender.
So we're talking about 3 bathrooms everywhere. So I'm going to go to the movie theater, and we're talking about 3 choices.
Oh, and you see that all over the place. You see all these single stall washrooms. So what the City of Edmonton is doing is just identifying where these washrooms are and applying this. And I know the Canadian Standards Association, we're working with them for health centers across the country who are looking to adopt this signage. So that wherever you go, Rogers Place, they're looking at using similar signage to identify these single stall washrooms, just to show that we're inclusive. We thought of you. Even the wheelchair in that picture is an active wheelchair, right? It's not a passive wheelchair. So there's really thought involved at a braille where it needs to be. And it's just a washroom. It has nothing to do with who you are, but what you do when you go in.
Now, is this a sign that's being accepted? Like, is this something that will be, you talk about, a yield sign or a stop sign, that's pretty much across the board. We know what that means. Would this be something that we could see across North America, or is that the plan?
And in working with a lot of the consultants that have done this work throughout North America, this is they finally found something that they could all agree on and set the standards. When you have health centers doing it, when you have the City of Edmonton doing it, universities that are starting to use this sign, even with, like I say, Rogers Place, some of our hospitals, then that sets that standard. And it's not about the sign, it's the bigger message that we've thought of you, you're welcome here, you're not just an add-on, that everybody's welcome in this space.
Yeah. Well, and I think what's interesting too is I know certainly there's been discussion about and I've seen people where they split the man and the woman and trying to make that. And again, it's not inclusive. It's not really what anyone wants to see. And I think that's across the board. I don't think that really makes sense to anybody.
Because as a trans person, I don't like being split.
Yeah, it's stating you're not one or the other.
And it shows an identity again. And not everybody identifies even with a gender at all. And so by not even putting gender on it, it's inclusive. Okay.
Just one last quick one for you, Marni. We're going to fast forward. I'm going to teleport the 3 of us 15 years from now. So that makes it, I can't do the math, but it's going to be 15 years from now. What should we like to see? What do we want to see happen in this area?
I would like to see public facilities that have one washroom, that have urinals and toilets that anybody can use of any gender, that are private within those washrooms and secure. But really, the segregation of space was a silly way that we ended up there anyway, but that's a whole other show. So I just like to see facilities that are just inclusive for everybody, that are safe. And we have many examples that are very much that way.
A European style. Sorry to interrupt you. That's how many of those bathrooms.
I think even the public library in Edmonton is going that way, actually.
I was going to say, there was a school when I was teaching a first aid class, and it was actually open. The bathrooms were more private, but then the whole wash area where people wash their hands was much more open, in order to stop any violence. Because the interesting thing is that people are so worried about what's happening, and yet they're not recognizing that washrooms are a very good place for violence to occur. Like so bullying in schools, we see a lot of that. And so opening up those spaces and making the stalls safe, but then the public hand washing out in the open, it actually gets rid of all of the availability of there to have things happen in that space.
And the research has shown that any of those spaces actually have proven to be safe. There has not been an increase in problems when those have been that way. So that's my vision 15 years from now.
I love it. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of the week, everybody.
Yay, happy Pride.
Yes, exactly. Happy Pride. We're going to take a quick break here. We've got lots more still to come on the show. Hang on to your hats. We got about 2 minutes. We'll be right back.
The Royal Canadian Circus Spectacle 2016 is coming to Edmonton June 10th to 12th at Northlands. It's been a family tradition for 4 generations of Canadians, and it's an experience your family shouldn't miss. See internationally renowned acts all under the big top. Dinner Television is giving you the chance to win a Circus Spectac pack for 8, including ringside seats and a behind-the-scenes tour. Enter at dinnertelevision.ca under daily prizing.